Time to reclaim our territory. Don't cross the stream, little buddy!
Man, this year has been weird. Last year I reviewed Season 1 of Final Space. If you're interested, you should probably go watch that video first and come back here. Unlike my Season 1 review of the show, this video will have some spoilers. So, a lot has changed within this season, some good and some bad. The first change being the show is now on Adult Swim, which is a plus, considering the network did save Family Guy all those many years ago. Most of the main cast stayed with some additions. Clarence, voiced by Conan O'Brien, of which only appeared in one scene last season, has now become a main character. He's almost like an evil, or rather more evil version of Professor Farnsworth from Futurama. Also joining the crew are his two adopted children, Ash and Fox. Fox is basically just a mixture of Cyborg from Teen Titan and Darwin Watterson from Gumball, whereas Ash is a moody teenage badass. She is also somewhat of a love interest to Little Kato. Unfortunately, though, with those characters becoming important, others had to become less important. Mooncake has lost his powers, and this season is no longer about saving him. Hugh has lost all of his dignity and is now somewhat of a comic relief robot, but don't worry because he does become a bit of a badass later on. Whereas I am mixed on his character change, he is still my favorite character and one of my favorite voices of Tom Kenny's. Someone that isn't my favorite is Kevin, in which I wish would have just stayed dead, honestly. It's not Fred Armisen's fault. I mean, the guy is talented, but I'm just not a fan of his work. I don't even know what Portlandia was trying to be, much less find it funny. For the record, my second least favorite character of the show would have to be Tribor. There's nothing really wrong with him, he's just boring to me, which is definitely ironic.
I name myself Tribor because even if I try to bore you, I can't. I'm too interesting.
The villain of this season isn't Lord Commander, but a weaker one in Todd H. Watson, a random guy from Earth who is mad about the Gary destroying the Earth as it kills his family. He also has an alter ego in Hush Fluffles. It was originally just a disguise, but he keeps the outfit after everyone knows who he is. So I guess Hush Fluffles is Todd's persona? This season also has another villain, Gary's cube-headed mom. I don't really have much to say about her, but with Della Duck and Nancy Green, why are more and more moms missing out of their children's lives all of a sudden? I mean, with Cheryl Godspeed, it is intentional by her, but it is still an odd coincidence nonetheless. Also, Quinn is missing from the cast this season, as she is stuck in Final Space. We do, however, get Nightfall, and honestly I'm fairly okay with this and the changes with the cast as a whole. On to the story. The goal of this season is for the gang to try and open Final Space to, of course, save Quinn and also free the Titan Bolo. Throughout the season, they find these dimensional keys in which supposedly help unlock Final Space. So it's basically the same plot of Friendship is Magic Season 4, which I'm fine with as it was my favorite season of that show. I do actually really like the goal of collecting keys in shows. That could just be because I like video games though. The season does feel a bit more episodic to me versus the last season. It is still a continuity-based show, but not all the episodes feel as though they continue where the last one ended. The more episodic feel is a plus in one aspect, though, that being the episode titles. This time around, they are actually titled rather than just being chapters. Another plus is that the episodes rarely take place in the same place, as near all of the crucial parts of Season 1 took place on the Galaxy 1. Almost every episode in Season 2 has a different setting or planet, which obviously expands the universe. But ironically, this season doesn't feel as big as last season. This could have something to do with the fact that I had higher standards this season than really having none from last season. But I would say it mostly has to do with the characters themselves. I said before that I was fairly okay with the cast changes, and in the non-critical, non-reviewer sense, I am. But looking back at Season 1 and comparing it to Season 2, I think I've come to realize my biggest problem and what is missing here in Season 2. Little Kato has always felt to me like a lesser version of his dad, Avocado, and Nightfall, whereas she is technically Quinn, she's not the same character, and we are very unaware of her character. The reason I bring these two up is because of just how big Quinn and Avocado were to Season 1 of Final Space. The show tried to replace them with lesser versions of themselves. This would be the equivalent of Futurama trying to replace Bender and Leela for a season. It just wouldn't work. And before anyone says anything, I do like Little Kato. I think he is a pretty well-written character, just not as a replacement as he has been seemingly treated so far. Some of the jokes and themes of this season felt more typical of adult cartoons. Don't get me wrong, it's not all that, but I just meant there is more of this.
My bones! My fragile bones! Oh, the hurting pains! My bones are being destroyed!
But despite me thinking Season 1 was better, I don't actually think the show has gone down in quality all that much. However, with all of this said, I do still recommend checking out Season 2 of Final Space. It's pretty important to watch Season 1 first. Season 2 of Final Space could have been better than what it was, but it's fine for what it is. Anyway, thank you guys for watching.